Hello, everybody. Cantonese Cat here. Just want to go through real quick for a little bit of a morning update. I don't have my usual mic here today, so you're gonna have to do what you got on the daily chart here of Bitcoin. I can see the Ichimoku cloud here hitting some resistance around 58,000 at the Tenkin over there. So you're gonna have a hard time breaking through. It looks like it's already served as resistance for a couple of days in a row here. But the thing about it is the wave trend oscillator is turning positive, right? So that's a positive development. If you also look at other things like Ethereum, it's also turning positive, and Ethereum is actually way underneath the tank in here around 27,330 sorry, 2,730. It seemed like you may have a little bit more room for Ethereum to go potentially. And you can really see this kind of across the board here on the daily. Solana had reclaimed both the Tenkan and Kijun and is above the cloud. So Solana is showing some relative strength. Chainlink's doing the same thing with the wave trend oscillator on the daily. Got a little bit more room to go up there, maybe to around even like 10.75. Doge is also doing the same thing, turning positive. You do have some resistance up here around 10 cents, 10 cents point 4, I suppose, right? A lot of these dog coins are doing very similar things. You have some pretty positive wave trend oscillator thing going, but you're right at resistance. Even Bonk is doing the same thing, right? So overall, a lot of the altcoins are basically getting close to resistance, and but the wave trend seems to be turning positive in this particular time frame. Now, going to a lower time frame here, and it looks like Bitcoin really does look like it's right at resistance. Initially, looks like we might have had a little bit of a breakout here over the last couple hours. And a couple hours before that, this is a 2 hour chart, right? It looks like it wants to break out above the Ichimoku cloud, but it's just been having a hard time doing it. It's just been forming a very, very nice bull flag over here, a little bit of an ascending triangle. It looks like it wants to really break through, but it's just having a little bit of a hard time doing that. Now, the weight trend oscillator looks a little bit exhausted. So we'll see. Like, I'm not surprised if it comes back down again to maybe like the 56,000 area. And that would still be a very, very nice, ascending triangle kind of thing to it. So I wouldn't necessarily be that bearish if that ends up happening, coming back down to like the 56,000 and then build up more energy and then try to push through the cloud. And once you push through the cloud, then you're really talking about, hitting some of the higher levels up here, maybe around, 59,500 or so. Or it could be even a little, yeah, 55. I would say 59,500 would be like a pretty decent level if it ends up break through the current resistance level, which looks like it wants to do. It just doesn't really seem to have that hump to kind of get through yet. And this particular time frame, the 2 hour time frame, look at Ethereum, it looks like we have broken above the tank, and it looks like Ethereum has a little bit more room to go. It looks like it might want to go through around like 50, sort of 2,500, which is kind of my projected path. I did come over to pose on X. I basically was just saying, looks like there's maybe like a little bit of ascending triangle here. Probably gonna hit the bottom of the cloud here, got rejected, and then bounce from this, anywhere around here, around like 2,300, maybe high 2,300, low 2,400, and then maybe break through the cloud, hit the resistance up here around 2,500, 60, 2,500, somewhere around there, and then may even go around the cloud before breaking out to the higher targets. This whole process might take a couple of days to do. So maybe about a weekend, we might be able to break above the zone about 2,500, and Ethereum could potentially go up a lot higher. So we'll see about that. Now if you look at this, how this wave trend oscillator has been acting on a higher time frame, on the daily time frame. I'm just going to pull back up here on the daily time frame. Again, you can see that it's turning positive, right? So what's that mean for like MSTR? MSTR just had a stock split today. And the daily cloud, you kind of got rejected here a little bit at the daily cloud, but it looks like you're having some, curling over here. So maybe the trend wave oscillator for this time frame is also turning positive. Coinbase is also turning positive. It's just maybe trying to make a little bit of a higher low before going up further. Even Robinhood has already turned positive here, right into resistance, right? So we're gonna have a little bit more momentum, maybe get rejected here initially and then push through. We'll see. CleanSpark also, same thing, you have a positive crosshair coming up pretty soon, and you're right at a very important volume shelf. So I think the target is probably going to end up going back to maybe around like 15 or so, is kind of what I'm seeing over time. And it can take, weeks, maybe even potentially months for it to really get back up here and challenge this area here around 15 to 18 or 20, somewhere around there on the top part of the range, right? Mara, same thing. Looks like you have a little bit of positive cross over here, right into resistance. So I can see it challenging maybe like around like 18, maybe challenging around 19.3 or something like that for the upcoming weeks or so. We'll see what happens with that. Bitfarm, same thing. Cyber, same thing. Even Irene or Iron, it's doing the same thing. TerraWolf has already had this bullish cross. BDBT is about to, so like even like for Hut 8 is about to on the daily time frame, right? Even for Raya is getting close to doing that. So there's a lot of confluence here in terms of what it's trying to do. If you ask me, I think that this vicious downtrend for a lot of these stocks have already been more or less played out. If you just look at the futures here for the stock market. I'm going to pull up the Nasdaq here, right? You really had this big giant vicious downturn. You have a little bit of a bearish divergence here where price went up and then also later went down. This have already been played out. Like this big giant drop over here is basically playing out this bearish divergence, right? And right now you don't really quite have a bullish divergence quite just yet, but every single time whenever the oscillator gets down to these like negative levels, like below negative 50, generally it has a pretty good chance that it might have bottomed, especially if overall if this is still a higher low, if this is still overall bull market. It just seems that we're right at the inflection point that it can go up a little higher, right? The overall resistance we got rejected off of here around like 18,540 yesterday. So that's still going to be resistance. We still need to kind of push through that. Even on a lower time frame, you actually have a little bit more resistance underneath right now that's trying to push through, right? And again, a lot of confluence here on a lower time frame. This is a 2 hour chart right here. Resistance around 18,530, which we got rejected yesterday, right off of that. Um, and then what you're really seeing here is just kind of going down underneath the cloud. It's been trying to challenge the cloud. Looks like the tank and the blue line is no longer going to be a resistance anymore. So I can totally see it at least getting back to the bottom of the cloud here around 18,125, somewhere around there to see how it reacts from there. See whether or not we have enough energy to kind of push through. The wave channel oscillator turned positive. I just don't know whether or not we have enough energy to really push through the resistance here. So we'll see. Anyway, I just want to share with my thoughts now. Bitcoin just did something nice. As I'm just talking, it looks like it wants to break out of this 2 hour Ichimoku cloud. It looks like it's still got a little bit more juice going on here. And if you look at the daily, it's right at resistance, right? Which is the reason why you're getting a little bit of rejection here right around 58,000 really. But you're having some positive turn here. So I'm not sure we're gonna, ooh, it looks like I might be trying to wick through it a little bit, but I'm just not sure we're not going to be able to break through it the first time. But this is a positive development because on a lower time frame, it looks like it wants to break out of the Ichimoku cloud, but on a higher time frame on the daily, is hitting resistance, and that's exactly what we're testing right now. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. I just want to share my thoughts here real quick based on what I'm seeing. I probably won't be able to update or be on X or do much of this afternoon or even early evening. So just want to share you my thoughts. Sorry, my mic is not the best. But yeah, thank you for listening. If you enjoy this content, if you want to support me, you can also consider doing the membership. You can join for just $4.99 a month. Then you can just cancel anytime. Feel free to do that. And if you support me, I'm going to try and support you as well. It looks like we're having a hard time trying to fight through the area, so we'll see what happens. Take care, guys. Have a good Thursday. Bye.